thought they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
So welcome to the second episode of Introducing, and today we'll be introducing Xset. As we can see on the screen, here are the members of Xset. So we have Def, Cryo, Zekan, BCJ, and Aaron, and their respective countries, and the coach, Psycho and T. And here are the different agents and some of the stats for each member of the team. So you can see that Def, who's the IGL, is basically like a kind of flex player. He'll kind of play smokes if they want double smokes. He'll play initiators. He'll play Cypher as well. Cryo is obviously the main chamber and jet player. Zekan is kind of the duelist mostly, but also plays some initiators and Sage as well. BCJ is kind of their primary initiator who plays Omen on Ascent. And Aaron is their primary smoker who plays Killjoy on Ascent. And here are some of their stats. You can see obviously that Cryo and Zekan, as you might expect, being the chamber and duelist players, have the highest ACS there and have very good KDs as well. And all the team is pretty good in terms of cast. This is kills, assist, survives, and trade. Basically, if you don't get one of them, it's kind of seen as like, you've been detrimental to your team. You haven't done great in that round if you don't get one of these. And you can see though the percent is pretty good for all of their players. And so now let's get into the VODs, and we're going to start here on Haven in the grand final against Optic, where Xset are on the attacking side. And this round I think shows some of the themes that go into what Xset are doing. They're not doing too much tactically in this round. They're just grouping up and going as 5, but we're about to see the first theme, and that is Cryo just destroying someone in an aim duel, because Cryo just takes Crashy's head off there. Really, really nice from him to start off. And we're going to see something really nice from Zekan as well. We get the stun on this right hand side. Zekan dashes into that left hand side, and he sees Victor in this corner because he goes back and he goes and kills him, as Victor isn't quite ready for it. But there comes a problem, because you see we have the KO nade here from FNS that is stopping the rest of the team from coming and joining Zekan onto the site. So I really love what Zekan does here, right? Because he knows he shouldn't go alone without the team. We get this nice aftershock on FNS, but he just re-smokes it. His first smoke ran out. He just puts the second one down there as well, so that he can just live in it, right? So he's just, again, in here in the smoke, right? Waiting for this KO nade so the rest of the team can come and join him on the site, right? He just doesn't want to die here and make it so that everyone can just look at the choke point down C. He wants to continue to live here so that he's a massive problem for FNS or anyone else who's on the site, that they have to worry about him as well, right? And as you see here, BCJ comes out here, but even if BCJ doesn't get that kill, Zekan for sure does. So yeah, I really love the way that Zekan played this round, and they managed to get that kill there. And then, well, they don't expect the fourth person to be on site, which is probably fair enough. So Marv gets one, but then is traded by Cryo. And then we just end up with Ye in a 1v4. And he is Ye, so he does manage to get 2 kills. But overall, I thought this was a really, really nice round by Xset. And we saw some of the good themes from them and what they can do. But Xset aren't just a straight up, play them normal, boring team either. They do have some interesting, cool things that they do as well, which we can see in round 5 here. So they're already 4-0 up. KO Knife comes in early towards mid, and they have a really wicked idea at this point. They're just going to follow the Skydog with Zekan here with the Jet Knives, just going to follow him all the way into B. Flash comes in from the breach. Again, we get the smoke into the dash. And in comes Zekan. And at this point, actually, Xset had gone B 2 of the 4 rounds that had happened before, right? So they'd done this already. They kind of conditioned Optic that, they like going B. They like doing these B hits. But instead, we get something crazy coming in this time, that Zekan just pushes through the smoke, and he manages to find the timing to come behind Victor and get that kill. Now, maybe this repeat here is a little much, but he realizes that and comes back to the team, as now they have garage control. And again, this Astro Suck, he realizes, oh yeah, let's not go too crazy. And they're still holding for FNS there, who does get that kill. Now, this round gets a bit crazy because of what Crashies does next. But, Xset kind of cement themselves. They know, obviously, that Optic now know that they're on C. And so they decide to come back to C long here. But as you can see, Crashies is doing like the most unexpected thing, I think, ever. And he just notes what they're doing. So what they essentially said was, obviously, they know that Optic are probably on C and are expecting a C hit at any point, right? And they know that that is the case. They don't really want to go out, though, and come back towards A or explore towards B, because they don't know where Ye is, who they know probably has an op at this point. They don't want to just give up a kill for free. So I think they do what is kind of the normal expected thing to do, which is they don't do the obvious thing of just like wait and re-hit it. They decide, okay, what if we come back and decide to hit C from just long instead? Stick as a 4, just go and hit long instead. Sounds like a plan, right? The thing is, Crashies does perhaps the most unexpected thing of all, right? Like any of Xset could be up here, right? No one expects anyone to just straight walk out and follow you. That's probably the last thing they expected, so that's why this round kind of gets a bit weird, because Crashies just does this and basically follows them, which is very weird indeed. But Crashies, you know, gives that information over of what they might do. They actually send the Omen ult in onto site to scout out what's going on. Obviously, they see the Astra there, or at least it gets shot, so they know that someone's there. And then Crashies actually misses that first shot, but hits Aaron eventually. But we get this really nice breach stun that allows Zekken to get that kill there. And then you've still got Crashies coming behind, and Ye is actually about to miss a shot. So does Zekken, to be fair, and TP away. And then you've got Crashies down here who sent out this flash, but Cryo is ready to help out his teammate and gets that kill. And again, we end up with Ye in a 1v3 that he is not going to be able to win. So really, really nice from Xset. Again, that first idea was super, super cool, especially after the conditioning that they had on Optic in terms of liking to go B and then doing something pretty radical and going behind them in Garage. And yeah, they ended up winning this round. Moving on to Bind, let's take a look here at round number 14. And so what we've got here, and what I really want to point out, is the Viper setup that they do, because this is quite a kooky, interesting, weird kind of Viper setup. So it starts off pretty normally, right? They send the Boombot in, they send the Raze Nade in, they get early control. It's an interesting thing to note as well, they are doing this Brim smoke. I've seen a couple NA teams do this smoke. They put it down at like the start of the round. It's I mean, it looks like a defensive smoke, right? But it's basically the idea of you don't want them knowing like how many people are in Hooker, right? You don't want them to be able to see you, how close you are, how many people are in there, all of that good stuff. They basically don't want Optic to know, and either you burst through the smoke yourself, or you you know, kind of wait for it to fade. They send a Skydog up towards long, but I do want you to just look at this Viper setup now as they start to come up, because what you're going to see is as the smoke fades, Marv kind of catches a bad timing there, but this whole time Victor has had a massive problem on this Neon, right? He's the one that's rotated across, but this Viper setup has caused him a massive problem, that when this Skydog is coming up here, Crashies thinks he's in trouble, so he doesn't know which side of the wall to be on. Right? He doesn't know which way to look, and this Viper wall just completely sections you off, right? Like if you're on this side, you have to deal with everyone in Hooker. If you're on this side, you have to deal with everyone on long on your own. And it just completely cuts off the two sides and makes it very, very difficult for you to know which side of the wall you should be on. If you know, send some pressure down both sides. You also have this one-way orb, which is really, really nice. And so this Viper setup, I really, really like, right? They're able to completely isolate Victor there, and Crashies can't help him at all, right? If this Viper wall isn't here, you know, he probably kills Zekken here, Crashies, as he's dropping out. Maybe even gets the second as the chamber trap goes off. But he can't do anything, right? He doesn't know where they are. He just has to back off and give up the site. And yeah, this Viper setup, really, really interesting, really, really cool. And I thought they used it really well. The retake attempt is going to come in from Optic, but you're going to see it's not that successful. They send in the breach stun, but Ye dies there to death. And this was actually a force buy this round from Xset as they win. So they actually lost the pistol, decided to force, and then convincingly won this second round. But now let's take a look quickly at something that I think they have some trouble with. And that is, well, one, their attacky side on Ascent, but we'll get to that. But just something that I have noticed sometimes they can struggle with, and that is like being a bit indecisive. You'll see what I mean. So we end up with a smoke here. We've got the KO knife that came in here, Sovadar in there as well. And actually, Def has used a flash to come out here, perhaps expecting that there would be some kind of mid aggression. They send a smoke in here towards mid as well. The drone comes out from Optic, but they get pretty early deep mid control, right? This is already with a minute 16 left. They've kind of got full control of mid, and so you would think that there's no way really that this round they're going to lose this round on time, right? Considering how early they've taken quite a bit of mid, and they seem ready to kind of, you know, go wherever they want. But what they're going to do is they're going to seed mid itself, or at least deep mid, and come back towards B and kind of group up, right? They've created this question mark in mid, but they're going to come back now towards B. They send in a KO knife. Actually, both teams send in a KO knife, so both teams kind of admit that they don't know what's going on. And then what we're going to get is Def just sent out a flash. In fact, let me come back to you to show it, because this still confuses me right now, right? He's going to send out this flash here, but then just walk away, and that means he has no flashes left. And then what he's going to do is they're going to sort of set up for B, And the problem is, of course, they still don't know. That flash doesn't really confirm that no one actually is in this cubby, right? And then now he has to go and re-clear mid. So him and the Killjoy are going to go back, re-clearing the space that they kind of already gained, if you get what I mean. They're going to flash, then they're going to dart, but no one is kind of in position to really use this dart, right? Like, they're not like knocking on the door of entering onto this B site. And you're going to see that what happens is they put down this Killjoy lockdown. Crashies is actually going to ult on the Sova and destroy the Killjoy lockdown as kind of a trade-off. But you see that because they had to re-clear mid, they also put their own smoke here as well. And so the Killjoy lockdown gets destroyed. The Fade ult comes out, and there's a KO nade on the floor as well that's stopping them from, you know, kind of getting through B main. They dash in, but now you start to see there's only 14 seconds left, right? And so the Astrosut comes in, and they haven't really forced Optic to use that much utility. And so they end up, you know, getting onto the site with 8 seconds left, right? And so even though they do start to get these kills, it's not quite enough. They have to get off the spike, and even though it's just Mob on his own, they end up dying there. So you see, like, some of maybe the indecision of being like, you know, instead of leaving someone deep in mid already, you know, or Def staying in mid already there, you know, to be ready to do this B push, you get that bit of indecision of like, oh, let's all go back B main. Actually, no, let's do a B split instead. And it ends up costing them on time, right? Because they just have to re-clear and kind of wait for everyone to take the space that they had already once taken. So that can sometimes be a bit of a problem for them. But let's end on a quick positive here, because this was really cool what they did in round number 23. We're going to see here that you've got the Sova here who's going to ping a dart down here. They do the normal Omen one-way smoke. Here goes that dart, and you actually see that BCJ has TP'd into the one-way smoke himself. And so what's going to happen is the dart reveals FNS, and they get the first kill. This is a crucial round. It's 11-11, and I just thought that was a really cool idea that was worth showing. And so to end, let's quickly look at their maps, their agents they like to play, and how they do on ecos and pistols. So we'll start with the maps, and you can see there's already kind of some interesting things going on here. Let's take Ascent for a start, where their win percentage is pretty good. They won 3 out of 4 in stage 2, but you can see the difference in their attack side versus their defense side is absolutely massive. This is absolutely crazy difference, and so you can see they are very defensive on Ascent. When it comes to Bind, it's kind of the same story, but not to quite the same extreme overall. And Breeze is actually the map that they struggle with quite a lot. You can see that not doing too well on either the attack or the defensive round, so they might start banning Breeze potentially as well, because they aren't doing too well on it. Fracture, you know, they haven't played Fracture too much, only 2 times, but they've done okay on it, you might say, overall. Haven is kind of their map. This is really where they dominate, as you can see, winning 5 out of 5 times, and their attack side on here on Haven is absurdly good, as we saw from some of those clips as well. Really, really good on the Haven attack side, and just kind of okay on the defense, but their attack will carry them to their wins. On Icebox as well, another strong map for them overall, and you can see, again, their attack side doing pretty well on Icebox, and again, pretty average on the defensive side. And then on Split, 2 out of 4 overall, and again, kind of average on either side, although you might say that's actually pretty good for a split attacking side, and maybe even a little bad for a split defensive side. Moving on to the agents, and I could not believe this, but in terms of like what agents they pick versus the average across all the teams in VCT, they almost just follow it like a book. I literally cannot believe this, because if you look at these numbers, like, right, +3, -6, +2, +5, +0, +7, -2, -5, like, they just follow what almost exactly what the meta is. The only difference is that they don't play Neon much, and they don't play Fade at all, and so some of the other initiators, like Sky, for instance, gets picked a bit more because they don't pick Fade. Like, that is the only difference. I mean, if you look at these numbers, it is insane how, like, close they all are to what the average is across all teams in VCT. Like, that is absurd. And so basically, Xset are just like the meta team. Whatever is the absolute meta, it seems like Xset are picking it. And then when it comes to pistol and ecos, they're kind of just okay across the board. Nothing too special. Nothing like Fnatic, where their pistol, you know, they're winning an absurd amount of pistols. Just 48%. They're doing fine. And the same is true when they're on eco, and the same is when they're against eco as well. They're just kind of an average team against those kind of rounds. And so that was Xset, and I hope you enjoyed it as we continue to look at all of the teams that will be a part of VCT Masters Copenhagen.